Hello everyone, I hope you're doing well. Today I thought I'd do a reading for my journal entry video. I know I haven't done it in a while, and I just wrote this, so I wanted to read it and share it with you guys. Jordan Peterson often talks about how there is no difference between thinking about yourself and being miserable. And I saw truth in this, but I wasn't sure about how black and white that statement is. There is never any difference between the two, ever, and I'm still not sure what my stance completely is on it, but I got to thinking the other day. I was thinking about how people sometimes have to do things for themselves. They have to clean the room, or have to write their song, or they have to try to understand their past, and so on. And it helps them, and they're better for it, and they're actually less miserable, not more, oftentimes. But that's when I realized those things are actions, really. It's just as I said, people sometimes have to do things for themselves. That's not the same thing as thinking about yourself. Even the trying to understand your past, that's not really purely thinking about yourself. You're doing something. You're trying to understand. It may look a lot like thinking about yourself, but I don't really think it's the same. I think about myself a lot. Way too much, even. So much so that I might wonder if I were conceited if I didn't have such a constant presence of inferiority and insufficiency all the time. But I don't think it's because I don't care about other people. I think it's because I don't feel like enough people think about me, and so I guess I just feel that somebody has to. We all need someone to pay attention to us. But it really does matter how you get the attention you need and what kind of attention it is. Maybe the solution here is to think less about myself and start doing more meaningful things in the world that make people take notice and want to pay attention to me. I know this is cheesy, but there's a quote from High School Musical 2 that I wrote down in one of my first journals when I was a teenager. There's nothing wrong with attention so long as you've earned it. It really resonated with me at the time, which is why I wrote it in my journal, and it still resonates with me today. I have noticed that the more I sit and think about myself, the more miserable I am. And I have also noticed, admittedly, that there's something addicting about it. But I've been trying to think less about myself recently, and when thoughts about myself pop into my head, I try to acknowledge them and then to direct my attention to something else, whether that be another person, an idea, or about things I need to do. But that's not the same thing as thinking about myself, which we've established. I'm fully committing to trying this more starting today. So yeah, I wrote this an hour or so ago, and I've been thinking about that concept a lot, and I'm still not entirely sure, is it always the case? I'm sorry, there's so much wind and it's driving me insane. Is that always the case? It honestly might be, I'm not sure, but I did notice that, I was in the shower one day, and you just think about things in the shower, and I was thinking about, I was just thinking about myself. I don't even know exactly what. I think I need to ponder more about what it means to think about yourself. What does that mean? It doesn't mean I have to think about myself, but when I'm being miserable thinking about myself, what is it exactly that I'm doing? I think I'm, looking at myself as another person would. But it's miserable. It is kind of miserable sometimes. It's not saying it's bad to take care of yourself or learn yourself, but even then, learning yourself, I don't know if it's the same thing as thinking about yourself. Yeah, and I think I realized while writing this journal entry that I don't think it comes from a place of being conceited or vain. It could, but I don't think it does. I really think it's just that, and this isn't a pity grab, I don't want pity, but there's really not a lot of people in my life I have to think about me. They've got their own lives, and I don't have a lot of family members that I like to be around, because I'm truly better off not having them in my life, even though the price I pay is I don't have them in my life. There's pros and cons. And so I don't have a person or a lot of people to consider me in a way that we all need it sometimes. And so I have to be that person for myself. But maybe people can consider you more when you do things to make people take notice. So I think that what I'm wanting to try to start doing is just start doing things more that are productive. Do things for myself, that's fine, because it's really, if it's for myself, it's for everyone else eventually too, I feel like. But I want to start doing things for myself which affect other people. It helps the world in some way, and that, I think, is the best way to get attention in the best way, not trying to steal anyone's attention, but trying to, the quote, attention so long as you've earned it. And yeah, I think that maybe Jordan Peterson had a better point there than I thought. I didn't think he was like off the walls, like wrong about it. I thought it was generally true still. But maybe it really is black and white. I don't know. All I know is that I'm committing to thinking about myself less more. That doesn't mean I'm going to stop thinking, but about myself, I think I am less miserable when I'm not constantly thinking about me.